The classic Mattel franchise Masters of the Universe is making its big screen return for the first time since 1987. While most of the cast is still being finalized, the lead role of Prince Adam He-Man has been cast for the upcoming live-action Masters of the Universe movie. Rising star Nicholas Galitzine will take on the dual role of Prince Adam and his superhero persona He-Man, marking his big break into the mainstream. Camila Mendes, known for Riverdale, will play Teela, the Royal Guard captain and personal sorceress to Prince Adam. Alison Brie from Community and Glow has been cast as Evil Lyn, Skeletor's second in command, though the role of Skeletor himself is still up in the air. With Evil Lyn confirmed, it's almost certain Skeletor will appear, but there's no word yet on how he'll fit into the plot. The latest update also reveals that Idris Elba is in talks to join the film, with the Thor and Hijack star set to play Duncan, aka Man-at-Arms. In many versions, Duncan is Teela's foster father, though it's unclear if this will be kept in the new live-action version. Elba isn't officially signed yet, but he's in the final stages of negotiations. The Masters of the Universe live-action movie is still a bit far off, but it's currently set to hit theaters on June 5th, 2026, through Amazon MGM. While the film is expected to debut in theaters, many details are still up in the air this far ahead of the release. The premiere date could change depending on any delays or adjustments to the project in the coming years. Still, the confirmed release date is a positive sign that Masters of the Universe is finally making its big screen return after nearly 40 years. Given how much time has passed, there are a few things the Masters of the Universe movie must get right about He-Man after all these years in development. One major point is making sure He-Man is front and center. Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe revelation improved over time, but it struggled with early mistakes, especially the fact that the trailers promised He-Man's return, but the first season barely focused on him. It was especially odd that He-Man wasn't even in the title, and the revelation ended up being more about Teela discovering He-Man's true identity in a tragic way. While Amazon's Masters of the Universe movie doesn't include He-Man in the title either, it's crucial that the film doesn't repeat the same mistake. It needs to make He-Man the focus, showing off his character and powers and why he's truly the mightiest man in the universe. Another point is that Prince Adam's secret identity has to make sense. He-Man might live in a fantasy world, but he's basically the superhero of Eternia, leading the planet's version of the Avengers. He traditionally keeps a secret identity, and only a few people know that the cowardly Prince Adam is really He-Man. Secret identities were huge in 80s superhero stories, but they've sort of fallen out of style since 2008's Iron Man, which is why Smith's Masters of the Universe revelation started with He-Man's identity already out there. The issue is, revealing it changes a lot of the relationships viewers want to see, especially the dynamic between Prince Adam and Teela. However, it seems like secret identities might be making a comeback, with Spider-Man No Way Home tackling Peter Parker's secret and Daredevil Born Again likely doing the same for Matt Murdock. It's important that Amazon's Masters of the Universe handles this well. Moving on, Teela needs to be more than just a love interest. With the focus on He-Man, the Masters of the Universe movie could easily fall into the trap of making Teela, Eternia's captain of the guard, just the main love interest. There's always been a bit of romantic tension between He-Man and Teela, since He-Man is a kind of wish fulfillment for many, but it's important for this to stay subtle. Teela isn't a damsel in distress, she's a Master of the Universe in her own right. Masters of the Universe Revelation tried to give Teela more depth by focusing on her relationship with the sorceress and revealing she inherited her mother's powers. This was a smart move, but it did change her character. The live-action adaptation is the first chance to see He-Man and Teela on the big screen since 1987, so it's crucial that they stay true to the original version of Teela. And let's not forget, Eternia needs to be a rich and vibrant world. He-Man first made his mark on the fantastical planet of Eternia, and the original animated show really dove into exploring this unique world. For Mattel, it was a chance to create a bunch of action figures, winged characters for the mountains, aquatic ones for the seas, and various versions of He-Man and his masters in different outfits to match the environments. When the New Adventures of He-Man came along in the 90s and moved away from Eternia, it was a mistake. Other shows quickly returned to He-Man's homeworld. The New Adventures was a misstep because it veered away from the franchise's fantasy roots. He-Man is a sword and sorcery story with some steampunk-style technology from Man-at-Arms, but moving too far into sci-fi wasn't the right direction. Amazon's Masters of the Universe needs to embrace He-Man's fantasy roots, especially since shows like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and The Wheel of Time have shown that fantasy can still be a huge hit. And this is a must. Skeletor has to be a truly terrifying villain. Masters of the Universe is really Skeletor's story because the strength of every hero is measured by how powerful their nemesis is. The 1987 Masters of the Universe movie didn't quite get Skeletor right. He came off as a typical fantasy villain instead of someone who really posed a universe-threatening danger if he unlocked the power of Grayskull. If Amazon's Masters of the Universe is going to succeed, Skeletor has to be genuinely frightening. Yes, it's a kids' franchise, so the film can't go too dark, but Disney has shown that villains can be both scary and beloved, and it makes their defeat all the more satisfying. Amazon might be tempted to tone down Skeletor's villainy, but doing so would lessen his impact. That temptation should be avoided. Next up, the tone and style have to be just right. Over the years, there have been so many versions of Masters of the Universe, so it might seem like the franchise doesn't have a specific tone. But that's not true. The tone was set by the classic 1983 series, and it's one of joyful innocence. Unfortunately, Masters of the Universe Revelation didn't quite get this right. It tried to grow up with the viewers from the 80s, and that didn't always land well. Masters of the Universe is fantasy, but it's not Game of Thrones. There's a childlike innocence to the franchise, making it something parents can enjoy with their kids. While the original series' moral messages might seem cheesy now, those speeches added to the world's sense of simplicity, good versus evil, and filled viewers with joy. Keeping that spirit alive is essential. And lastly, Masters of the Universe needs to introduce a new generation of viewers to He-Man. One big mistake Masters of the Universe Revelation made was leaning too heavily on nostalgia. It was targeted at fans of the 1980s TV series who wanted to see the franchise evolve with them. Well, that's it. What are you most excited to see in Amazon's Masters of the Universe live-action movie? Do you think He-Man's return will live up to the hype, or do you have concerns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and be sure to subscribe for more updates on this and other thrilling upcoming movies. We'll see you next time.